Hi, my name is Concrete, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I have been receiving questions about my thoughts on Elden Ring, and so I'd like to share them with you now after 12 hours of play. I want to state up front that I have played through every Soulsborne game except Demon Souls, and consider myself a veteran of the genre. The Dark Souls series has had some of the most interesting worlds in all of gaming, and so far, Elden Ring has already gripped me.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between.
The world certainly compels the player to explore. Many areas feel stuffed with goodies to find, and the inclusion of an easy mount, Torrent, makes getting around quite simple. Torrent feels essential to me, and the world would not be nearly as accessible without him. The world doesn't feel tucked away behind item descriptions like it was in previous titles. It's voiced now by your new companion, Melina.
Spoken echoes linger here, words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. If you wish, I will share them with you.
The older games needed you to put in a lot of effort to discover what was happening around you. This feels like it jumps off the page at me. Like the world exists after I've logged off. As a veteran of the genre, difficulty is the most disappointing aspect of Elden Ring. So far, I have encountered 15 bosses, listed here. These are the bosses that required 2 or fewer attempts, and these are the bosses that I felt reflect the core philosophy of a Soulsborne game. One boss may have even been a mistake, given its location and overall design. If you've also defeated these bosses, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the game's difficulty as well. Clearly, difficulty is not at the forefront of this game's design so far, but I would like to stress that I'm still enjoying the game, and that this was only my first 12 hours with it. That, and the only story required boss that I've completed, felt right on the money for me. I want to note some issues with performance that I did not expect, even on day one. Players that accept 30 frames per second will not notice any issues with performance, but this genre demands a higher standard in my opinion. Players are expected to react to enemy animations, and 60 frames per second should be considered the floor for performance given this. However, Elden Ring often cannot reach 60 frames per second at all on most machines, and all machines will experience hitching during play due to the content being loaded by DirectX 12. The only fixes for these issues currently lie outside of the client, and most players simply will never take that step necessary to solve them. Characters in this series have never been particularly gripping. Most of their actions take place off-screen.
Speak thine heart's desire. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength.
The emphasis is on combat, so even these main characters from previous titles lack basic animations.
The next monarch. Or merely a pawn of fate. Bearer of the curse. I will remain by your side till this frail hope shatters.
Elden Ring really jumps forward here, allowing Melina to even invite herself to your camp when she needs to speak with you.
I've been testing you to determine if the Elden Ring would truly have you, if you had the mettle to endure this long and arduous path. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start.
The game's overall hub, the Round Table Hold, is hastily explained, and there's far too much information given at its introduction for me to retain. Hopefully this area is given more time to breathe later in the game. Elden Ring appears to me to be heavily geared towards newer players, or at least newcomers to the genre. With a huge starting area and plenty of enemy variety to start before the first major encounter, I can see this game attracting many new eyes. However, that doesn't mean that veterans can write this one off. The story is already shaping up to be FromSoft's best yet, and I can't wait to continue exploring the world they have crafted with George R.R. Martin.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.